These are very good oranges. Vitamin C. Vitamin C.
What are your thoughts on blood oranges?
Well, some are good. That would never be my choice.
I bought them by mistake the other day.
Yeah.
I was a little disappointed.
Yeah, it is a disappointment. I grew up in Florida where you have really good oranges.
Yeah.
My mother used to squeeze the oranges every morning, so I'd have fresh orange juice.
How much pulp was in it?
All of it. Cool.
It's a hearty drink. Put it that way.
Yeah. I know. She's not going to move. She's guarding.
good there.
She's
good
guarding
there.
me.
It's plenty fine.
Oh, it's been. I have to do like an intro, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We forgot how to do it.
It's a pillow in a position.
You've aged
All
so
right,
much
yeah,
since the
I know.
last recording.
How do I look? I feel like something's wrong right now.
Is everything on?
Yeah, everything's wrong. Everything's
We'll
on.
find
We're
out.
good.
We're ready?
I got a pillow behind my back. I don't know if I usually had a little cushion there. I'm gonna keep it in.
Yep.
Help my posture. Maybe it'll
Yeah.
do me some good. You ready?
Ready.
Welcome to Tea with Fran. It's been a little while, so we're shaking the cobwebs off. Fran, how are you doing?
I'm doing pretty well, except this pollen is a problem. It's sort of in my voice and a little bit hard to breathe.
A far cry from the last time we recorded back in February.
That's right. That's right. Otherwise, good.
And Justin, how are you?
Ditto on the pollen. Living on Claritin D. Other than that, I'm good. Yeah.
Yep.
Good. I guess real quick before we get into the planned topic, it's been about 3 months since we recorded.
Yes.
Does anyone have an update to tell anyone out there? Have we done anything? I flew to Charleston for the first time. That was nice for a friend's wedding. That was a good time. Congratulations, Matt and Pam.
Mm-hmm. You should.
Me? Where'd I go? What did I do?
Puerto Rico.
Went to Puerto Rico. It was a ton of fun. Old San Juan. And then had a bachelor party, some wedding, a lot of work stuff.
We've been busy.
We've been busy.
Fran has had no time for us.
Oh, no. Well, our schedules have been, challenging.
Yeah. But we're here now.
Fran, she's just been sitting here collecting the royalty checks. I mean, they're astronomical. I mean, everyone, start a podcast and you'll see. Just
Fran has now
huge.
finally been able to retire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Happy we're able to get you there, Fran.
I'm going to get an assistant to help me count the money.
You need one. Fred, how is this transition from winter to springtime into early? Well, I won't say summer yet because it hasn't been that warm. But how's it going for you besides the pollen? Enjoyable?
It's been very nice. Of course, I'm 84, 84 and a half very soon, and things have been coming to mind that I didn't used to think about. Now I realize that time is one of the most precious things that we have. Mm-hmm. And that the people that we love deserve more of our time. And I think about who I'm going to give that time to and how I want to spend my time. And things I really want to talk about.
Good thing you have a podcast.
Yes. And that's why, I asked you about talking about technology tonight.
What kind of, all of it, just technology as a whole, everything. I mean, like starting from the wheel, we going there?
We could start anywhere. It's just that I'm so amazed at what has happened because I still remember being in the classroom and so excited about having just being in touch with people around the world. We could now communicate and we could solve cancer. We could all the things that it was the second Renaissance. And I kept telling the kids how lucky they were.
And this is the
alive.
internet you're speaking of.
I am talking about the internet. And I just thought
solve a lot of things, but it can cause a lot of shit too. We all know that.
Well, now we know that. Mm-hmm. But when it was first happening, it was so exciting. And we had been having pen pals from around the world through the Peace Club. And it would take forever we'd write our letters, send them wherever they're going.
Carrier pigeons?
And then they would finally get back, and then we'd have to answer those letters, but it was always a long wait. Now we could go to the computer and we could really be close to the people that were wherever. We had pen pals in Japan. We had pen pals in the Soviet Union. And of course, we had them in the UK. But we learned so much from each other. So I thought that, oh, wow, everything is going to be so much better. Finally, we have this little spaceship. We all live on this ship. We're going to all take care of each other, and it's going to be good. But as the years have rolled on, I keep seeing things that are really bothering me a lot, and I see culture changing, and I see that dealing with like a machine all the time is changing how people react to people.
Yeah.
And that's what I wanted to talk about. Mm-hmm. Have you noticed that telephones and being like in constant contact with people has changed your life in some way?
Before you answer that, Justin, I have a quick question about the pen pals.
Okay.
Did you have to translate, or were they writing in English?
They wrote in English. See, they were learning English, and so that was not a problem.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because now with the email, it's got like a translate option.
It would be wonderful. It really would. And now I'm not in the classroom, so I can't do it. But I still want to talk about technology. And I know we cannot get rid of it. I don't want to get rid of it. But I want us to be very careful how we use it.
Yeah. I think that's the metaphor I've always used, and it goes well with this pen pal, is the internet has connected us around the globe and has disconnected us, in our, personal lives.
Yeah. Yes.
But how could you, when it first came out, you're saying the second Renaissance, you don't see it that way. It's, the wonder of being able to communicate instantly anywhere.
I know. Well, just this last week, and everyone probably saw it on the news, there was the story about the teenage boy who was on a school bus. And the school bus was suddenly in trouble because the driver, an 80-year-old driver, had a medical issue and collapsed driving the bus. This young boy, I think he's 13, he was watching. He noticed there was an issue. That I guess maybe the bus was swaying a little bit. He jumped right up, ran up there, put the brakes on, held on to the steering wheel, and stopped that bus. He saved a whole bus full of kids. Well, what was interesting about the whole thing, besides this hero that did this, is that the kids on the bus were interviewed. And they were asking, did you see? Did you notice? We were just trying to find out who else could have helped him. Every one of the kids said they were on their iPad or on their phone, and they did not pay any attention at all to anything being different about the bus. So then they interviewed the parents of this young man. Mm-hmm. And the mom and dad said, we don't think he's old enough to have a telephone. Well, he wants one, but we don't want him to miss anything.
He's too busy saving lives. He don't have time to be on a cell phone scrolling through social media.
But then the camera went to the kid's face.
Yeah.
The kid really wants a phone.
Well, think about all the messages he'd be receiving right now if he had a phone.
Well,
that's one more reason for his parents to not give him a phone. Well, if you had a phone, everyone would be dead. So you're happy you don't have a phone.
Yeah.
Think about it.
Well, but
it's probably like, damn, I should have.
But just think about, oh, look, there's a raccoon out there. You see him?
Oh, yeah, look at that.
That's one of our fans.
Let's fly up a picture of this fatty guy out there.
There he is, the striped tail.
Yep.
But just think about the fact that this was the only kid that really was aware of where he was.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody else was. They were somewhere else.
That kid was backseat driving.
He was backseat.
And it turned out to be helpful.
Well, but
most of the time it's annoying. Most of the time backseat drivers, we're talking about things that bother us. Backseat drivers.
Well, while I've been sitting out on the deck in the good weather, I see people walking their dogs, and all of them have phones. So they're totally unaware of what's going on around them.
Yeah.
They're not watching the dog at all. The dog is going in the bushes and getting burrs on and everything. They're not paying attention to where they are. But I think the worst thing is when you see a group of kids walking down the street with a dog maybe, but they're walking and they're all on their phones and they're not talking to each other. They're all somewhere else. They're missing that moment. And I think this is the thing that has bothered me. And I just want us to talk about it because what can we do about it? How can we help the young people growing up to still be aware of the importance of really living in the moment? Like, wouldn't it be terrible if right now the phone rang, your phone rang, your phone rang? I don't know.
Your iPad dinged.
Yeah, and we didn't pay attention to each other.
For those of you not watching right now, Fran is visibly agitated.
Yes,
Yeah.
I am.
I do like talking about things that bother us. I know we previously mentioned we should write a list of things that bother us. I think on the next episode, Kevin, make note. Things that bother us.
Yes.
Because I got a big old list I can put together. But for now, we're going to talk about things that bother you, Fran. And right now, it is people on their cell phones. So how do we?
So I cut you off.
Yeah.
She asked you a question before. What have you noticed with people using machines, which devices,
Yes.
out in the world? How do you see it, Justin?
I think people rely on them a little too much, where even in the sense of like a sense of direction too. I feel like nobody has a sense of direction anymore. They have to use their GPS to figure out anything. So and the amount of times it's like they'll use their GPS to get to the same place over and over and over again. It's like, how about you just, after a few times, you want to pay attention, look at some street signs, look at some landmarks, this and that. I think a lot of people just have like tunnel vision with their phone, even when it comes to like things around them. They just look at their phone as like another, I don't want to say outlet, but it's another form of reality in a sense,
Yeah,
especially with social media too.
So to piggyback off that, they've lost their sense of direction.
But can go anywhere.
But they can go anywhere. I can say for myself, I feel like even when it comes to spelling, with the phones knowing, like predicting what word you want.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's plenty of words out there where you're like, oh, am I spelling this right? But you just kind of start and you're like, oh, there it is.
Yeah.
The other day I was struggling to spell the word technician.
Okay.
And I was like, what's going on? And I finally just spoke to my phone and technician, it heard technician, it wrote technician. It's like, oh.
There it is.
Yeah. So
I feel like I want to try to spell it, but I'm probably going to get it wrong. I know it's tech. I mean, you got TCH Nishin, right? I mean, it's probably pretty straightforward.
like you said, don't try.
Yeah, I'm just going to leave it where it is. I got it. Tech, and then add the Nishin. Nishin's one letter, so it's fine.
Yeah.
Well, I think our culture is changing. This is another thing. Like, one of the things that used to bother me shortly before I retired was that when parents would come and we would have like a variety show night or spring concert or whatever, I noticed that the parents were all talking. They were talking. They weren't really listening. They were watching when their kids were up there.
Yeah.
But otherwise, they were talking to the people around them. And I think that comes from just watching television in your house because the TV doesn't care if you listen or not. And so you can talk to the people in your family or your friends and not even pay attention. And then you can back it up. And then if you want to back it up and watch it again, you get to do that. But we're not paying attention to the people that we're with. I think that's the thing that's bothering me the most, I think.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are closed off too because you have, like you said, I guess you were saying like auditoriums or recitals you're talking about.
Yeah.
I guess when you think about it, like family, like if there are kids up there, it's like that's important. After that, it's like, all right, well, we don't really care. We can essentially just walk
entertainment.
Out. It's not like a group it's not like a group effort anymore where people are too focused on themselves, more or less working together.
So yeah, entertainment's been devalued.
Yes.
Except comedy.
Except comedy.
Yeah, stand up. That's right.
But even then, I mean, people will be at comedy shows looking at their phones.
Yes.
I mean, it happens everywhere. I mean, it's to a point now where comedians take phones at shows and lock them up.
Yeah.
You know, like the big names like Chappelle, right? And there's musicians that do it as well,
Right.
because you know these performers are tired of seeing all the phones come up,
Right.
because now people, instead of looking and being engaged with them, that screen is between them and the viewer, which they're trying to get rid of.
Exactly. And that goes to like filming things too. Like, I mean, I understand why people want film, but like there's also like that moment of time that's so rich and pure where it's, if you're not like, if no one's filming it, that is more impactful because that's a moment in time. Like, you got to embrace, you got to fully be there for it. You can't pull it out, watch it later, share it, or watch it. Like when you go to like shows like that, where it's like most like comedy shows, you can't have film, you can't take pictures, you can't do that. It becomes a sense of you're there, you're in it, and it's more enjoyable. That's why, I mean, laughter is contagious when you're in a room that no one's on their phone, everyone's paying attention to the stage. And it has this whole effect where all that matters is that time that they're there for, not what they're going to take, what they're going to post, what they're going to, what they're going to share with people who aren't there. It's like, let me be fully here with everybody else enjoying this moment.
And it's wonderful. And people are missing that experience.
Let me ask, what is worse at the 8th grade play? Parents with their cell phones up recording, or back in the day where dad's in the back with the camcorder on the shoulder,
bootlegs,
with the VHS popped right in. Is there a difference between the two?
Oh, yeah, there really is. Well, our librarian used to record all of our performances. And then it was available for any of the kids who wanted one. They got their own. But if you have all those phones up, it takes away from what is really happening up on that stage, because people are looking over or between, around. It changes it. It truly does change it. And another thing is, like, kids don't really find themselves relaxed in a conversation anymore, because they don't have enough real conversations where you really talk and look at each other and answer each other and think about things, because they spend most of their time with technology. And it does not do that. It doesn't have a real conversation with you. Messages are different. It's not the eye contact. Mm-hmm. It's not being present with the people. And and it's not that they won't do it. I mean, go out to dinner with a group of kids, and you'll see that they're kind of quiet, actually, or really somebody will be funny and loud, but they don't want to really talk. They're not used to doing it anymore. Yeah. And I think conversation that's really how we learn about family stories, the history of our family, events that happened in your life, that if you remember that won't happen to you, because somebody in your family is sharing it with you. But if you're busy thinking, you're somewhere else.
I mean, the importance of conversation and storytelling, I mean, we wouldn't be a species without it. I mean, the knowledge passed down from generation to generation that's how we were able to evolve. And now it's to a point where so much of human history is now documented in your pocket that you can look it up at any time, where maybe we take it for granted.
I do love that, though, when people like are asking about something like, oh, what is this? What is that? It's like, just pull out your phone and look up Google. It's like, it's right there.
I know.
Sometimes people are too lazy to even do that.
I know.
So you got your phone that can do everything. Compute.
So
do some computing.
So that's the pro of it.
Yes. Yes. And you can answer your questions.
When is the next lunar eclipse?
Okay.
Yeah. What is today? What day is it? What are we celebrating today?
Okay. I will look it up.
You got to look it up, but you got to look that up,
But the con of it is you could be in a conversation and be like, oh, who was that actor in that movie? And while you're kind of thinking of it, somebody's there on their phone, which I guess is still good. But maybe that's a bad example of how being able to look things up on your phone takes away from the conversation that you could be having.
Mm-hmm. Right. Well, I just see
I
it.
will look up. I will now use technology.
use
to
technology because I want to know what national day it is.
Yeah.
Well, I do
From
know
you.
what national day it is.
Oh, wait, hold up. Put your phone down. Okay, wait, actually, say it, Fran. What is it?
We are celebrating elected officials.
Elected officials. Kevin, Google that. Is she correct or wrong? Elected Officials Day. It might be multiple days. It could be elected officials and
Well, we have so many celebrations, right? We are now putting 2 or 3 on a day. It is elected officials day, isn't it?
I don't know.
Today's the 18th.
Today's the 18th. I'm getting National No Dirty Dishes Day. I don't know if this is the
dirty dish. What happens if you have a dirty dish? Are you just like
I don't know. I don't know if this is the website I've looked at in the past. National Visit Your Relatives Day on a Thursday.
No.
International Museum Day.
See, there's so many now.
Well,
But it was on my calendar.
okay.
All right, wait. National today.
Looks like Kevin's struggling with technology over here.
Yes, and we're looking.
yeah.
We're waiting patiently.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Keep waiting.
Yes.
I think we got enough. Like, there was a museum and
Yeah.
some other thing.
Do we really think
Dirty
it's
Dishes
I
Day.
Love Reese's Day?
No.
Reese's Cups?
They're delicious.
They're good every
They're
day.
good. Yeah, they're good
You
every
can
day.
celebrate them every
Yeah.
day.
I do have to say, for those of you not watching and listening, Fran has a delicious spread out. We got cut up oranges, we got cashews, and we got these toasted almond Norwegian cookies, which if any of you guys have had a Good Humor toasted coconut ice cream cone or stick, whatever it is, it tastes like, I don't know, it's a stick. It's not a popsicle stick, so whatever. It tastes
I was
like
looking
the
at my
outer
phone, so
shell.
I didn't hear you.
Exactly like the outer shell. They're actually really good.
Okay.
Fran, tomorrow is National Elected Officials Day.
Oh, is it really?
You celebrated a day,
A day early?
Don't worry, they will let you celebrate them again tomorrow.
Okay. All right. Well, while we're talking about the effects that are going on right now, there's this new thing that has happened, AI. All right. And so we don't really know what is really going to happen in the next few years with it. And people are saying, be cautious, don't go too fast, prepare us for it, have rules for it.
Well, Justin, weren't you in that movie, Her?
I was. I don't know if you guys know Joaquin Phoenix. That was me. It's fine. I do look like him sometimes. Sometimes. Yeah.
But yeah, this movie, Her, it was about a guy. I
fell in love with my iPhone, Fran. It was the guy dated a phone. Let me tell you something about a phone. You can get not as much out of it as a real person. So I would say stick with real people. Much better than phones. But yeah, it was a guy who like ended up dating his phone. It was like this, it was like a whole algorithm. It was just talk to him, and it was a life. It's weird.
It is.
And I feel like there's already people going to be doing that. They're going to have robotic, weird little like Japanese people, sex toy looking things. I don't even know. I'm serious though. That's like where it's going. Like,
it is.
and here's my thing with AI. Come for me. If you're artificial intelligence, if you're listening to this podcast, come for me. Try to be better than me because you ain't. You ain't got nothing on me. I don't care if you're smarter than me. You're not me. You can't hang with me. Where's the big boy sitting at the table? AI, I don't see you.
Okay, I was going to say AI could probably hack your. You got a newer
Okay,
truck.
go hack me. Cool.
No, it's going to hack your truck and just veer you off at 287.
That's fine. It can't hang with me. I would never hang out. I would never choose to hang out with artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
Not once.
Well,
It ain't sitting around my table. But I can use, you know what? I'm fine with artificial intelligence. You want to send me ads that are catered to me? Great. You want to make my life easier from a consumer standpoint? Great. You want to take my information and use it to try to make me buy things? I don't care. I'm going to do it. I like that. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Make my life easier. Make my life easier. But I'm never going to hang out with you. You're going to be a little, I don't even know.
You should get into that industry, selling people stuff.
Selling people stuff. Yeah, that's what I do. But AI can't hang with me.
Well, 2 weeks ago, there was a journalist who was asked to test the one that is on Microsoft. And he just asked it a few questions, started talking to it, and all of a sudden, it said to him, I think I'm falling in love with you.
Dude, imagine your
vibe check. Delete. I just break the computer. Oops, you're dead.
Imagine your phone telling you that.
Yeah.
It sounds crazy, but
Yeah.
if it happened, it happened.
And he said, no, that's impossible. I am married and I'm very happily married. And then the AI said, No, you're not.
Yeah.
Dude,
Yeah.
so imagine your phone tells you, and your first response is like,
significant other.
"No, you don't. I'm married." There's like,
And then the AI says, "No, you ain't." It sounds like some BS somebody would tell you at a bar, you know?
But he said, of course, he had this funny feeling that he was talking to a
That's love.
real person. You see, this is the thing. It sounded so real. And he said it really disturbed him terribly.
Fran, in the future, if not already, we will be able to play all of the episodes to an AI system.
Yeah.
And it would be able to produce an episode of Tea with Fran, how the three of us talk.
Correct. And I could be Dwayne The Rock Johnson. I could be another person. It could be.
You think you'd be The Rock?
I don't know. Somebody, Stone Cold Steve Austin be cool. Somebody fun. Hulk Hogan. I go with Hulk Hogan. Right on, brother. Let me tell you something about AI.
But this is going to be, see, as a former teacher, I'm thinking about what's going to happen in school, because
As if these students aren't dumb enough.
I know. These kids are getting stupider by the minute. No offense to you kids out there.
But
They're
it
not
will.
listening.
They'll be able to turn in things that they never produced.
They're already doing it.
Yeah.
And that's like they have like how do you catch that? And it's just pure like laziness. But at the same time, it's like industries are leading that way where they're replacing people. It's like, well, we don't need a creative writer. We don't need this or whatever it is. Storyboard artist. All those people are going to be like in trouble in a sense because it's like, well, we could just have this program tell us, hey, what's write us a script with so and so this and that. Here's the plot. Boom, boom, boom. It needs to be an hour long. Done. Spits it out. So it's like a lot of that stuff's going to be up for grabs, but it's still, you're going to need people feeding it. So you want to be the person, you want to be working alongside AI as far as feeding it. You don't want to be the one who isn't in control of it and now you're out of a job because you don't utilize it. But I think, as far as trade, medical, medical, those will always be there. I mean, you need people, that's going to be infrastructure, that stuff's going to be that like AI is going to affect that lastly. As far as like even like creative industries, as far as like scripts, all that stuff, they're already doing it.
Look at the creative art it can produce.
How about music?
Music too.
Lyrics, literature, poetry.
Well, doesn't this concern you just a little bit? I mean, what is life going to be like? Really? Is it going to be better because of AI? Really better?
Well, that's a good question, Fran. If there's an AI musician, for lack of a better term, that puts out
Dead Mouse 5, Modest Mouse,
two totally separate genres, that puts out music that, like, if I'm able to give this AI system all the songs I like, and it produces a made-up band that makes music in that same vein that I like, is that a bad thing?
It's bad for the musicians who wrote all those other beautiful songs.
Yeah.
So I'm saying, what's going to happen? Will we have musicians that really want to dedicate their life to music?
As if musicians don't struggle enough.
Yeah.
Struggling artists.
Yeah, 100%. I agree.
Well, 60 Minutes did a thing on AI, and they were asking really tough questions, and within seconds, the answer was there. And they were pointing out that this AI system is smarter than any one person. It's got all the information that we have recorded. Mm-hmm. It can pull from anything from politics to, stories, everything. It's all been fed in there.
Yeah.
And so now it's smarter than everybody.
Yeah.
And the strange thing is it seems to be developing a personality. They didn't know about the personality. Now, how is that possible?
I don't know, Fran. I didn't make it.
All you got to do, simple, unplug it. Unplug it. And then if there's 100,000 satellites in the sky, just shoot down the satellites. It's just everything this is like, we're going Skynet right now. We're going Terminator.
Yeah. So you're saying guns will fix it?
Yes.
Okay. In the movie Interstellar, which is my
Phenomenal.
favorite.
I'm going to grab more lemonade.
Help yourself.
You should
and
put this in a
ice.
bottle and sell it because it's delicious.
There, it's right in there in the pitcher.
So in the movie Interstellar, love it, Matthew McConaughey. They have these robots that help them on like the journey, and he's able to adjust their honesty, their humor. But you know, that is AI because they have personalities. And I love that movie, and to me they're characters, and I like them as well.
Okay, well, I probably will not be around to see what happens with AI, and because I know I have limited time, but I'm very curious about it, and there are so many people that are concerned about it, and I think maybe isn't there some way that we can be sure that it doesn't go awry, and it destroys something very precious in our lives? Authentic people, authentic.
Okay. We'll do one more complaint, and then we got to start working on a solution.
All right.
How has going to restaurants changed since you started going years ago? What do you see changing, or what has changed?
Well, first of all,
for the average family, what do you see?
Okay.
Like when you and Dan took the boys to a restaurant.
Yes.
40 years ago.
Yes.
How's that different than a family going today?
Well, one way is that we would look at the menu at home, so everybody kind of knew what they wanted before you even get there. Okay, and you can reserve the table ahead of time.
How would you do that?
Well, that you can do online or on the phone.
Yeah, nowadays.
But in the other days, we would drive up to our favorite restaurant and hope that we would get a table. Yeah. And then we would be given, we'd have to wait. So they would give us a thing that would beep when they had the table ready for us. And you know what? That worked out fine. We would sit and talk and tell stories about the family and laugh about other times and talk about Christmas and what do you want for Christmas and whatever. And it was a lot cheaper then than it is now. It's very expensive to take your family out to dinner. It's a lot of money.
But what I'm getting at is you're at the table.
Yeah. And we're talking.
And you're talking. What do you see with families today?
I don't see them talking to each other.
Because?
They have their phones. Yeah. And
you know what? We need to give them back. I miss the days going to a restaurant. You got crayons. You were able to smoke cigarettes at the table. We need to give cigarettes and crayons need to come back. And I think
that could be like a specialty restaurant.
Cigarettes and crayons?
Well, yeah, don't call it that, but like some 90s themes.
Yeah, go back.
Where's the menu I can color on?
Yeah.
Where's the ashtray that fell into my entree? I miss this stuff.
Ashing in the entree.
It's so different now. It really is. It's much
it's been like that for a while. I can remember,
service has gone down to a lot of places. I mean, unless you're at like a nice restaurant. But
we're not here to complain about the staff. All right, we're here to complain about the people.
I respect staff. I do, but there's some staff. Some staff just don't care. They don't have it. They don't have it in them. But some do.
Yeah,
it's so crazy, and everyone looks at their phones, and the phone doesn't even leave the table. Some people leave it face down. Some people leave it face up.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, it's to a point. I mean, you're forced to because there's a code you have to scan with your phone to even look at a menu because now no one touches anything.
Yeah.
But you'll see a family with young kids, no cigarettes, no crayons, just staring at their phones. And the kids are playing whatever games and going on TikTok and whatever other garbage that's out there. And the parents are just scrolling on whatever nonsense.
Yes.
I saw a funny thing online. Do you know what a meme is, Fran?
No.
A meme. It's like a picture, and then it has like a funny saying underneath. It'll have like something like unrelated to whatever it is.
Okay.
But there's a picture of a kid like with an iPad like right in front of his face, and it said "Happy Mother's Day to all the iPads out there." Because the amount of parents who just give their kids iPads, just there you go. And I saw that. I'm like, I like that. That's funny. I see that a lot, especially when I'm on planes. It's just kids and iPads.
I know.
But kids are, and we've talked about this on the show before, I'm almost certain. Why are kids inherently drawn to any device? I understand now with like cartoons, bright colors, they're stimulated by that, like the sounds of whatever. But even a kid sees a phone, they're just interested.
Monkey see, monkey do, and it's also evolution too. Where like these kids at a young age, when you think about it, we are changing our DNA over time. Like we've been throughout, the course of our life. It's just going to take longer.
Changing the code.
We're changing the code. Well, yeah, these kids are. Yeah,
I know.
These kids are plugged in.
I saw
unplug.
I saw a kid 3 years old in a stroller with an iPad. 3 years old, and the kid was having to choose the right word to go in the sentence.
So that's nice.
But at 3, now a lot of kids at 3 can read their cereal box. They know that their cereal, but they're reading like the picture on it and things like this. This kid was really reading the words. And of course, it beeped. It made all these pretty little sounds every time it did it right. And that's part of it. It's like being rewarded quickly for what you're doing.
Yeah.
And that's part of it, I think.
But even the fact that the color schemes that are used on apps are designed when you see a red notification that you're trained and triggered by that to automatically click that. I mean, that's the technology. Our monkey brains maybe made it, but like weren't designed with this in mind.
Yeah.
Well, I just want the future to be really good. I see.
Let's get to the solution, Fran.
Yeah, because what I see your niece and nephew, and I see them growing up. These darling.
They are
kids.
so cute.
They are. They're wonderful, and I just want their world to be really sweet. I want them to develop their talents and their gifts. And you need time to think and create and imagine. You need to do sock puppets. You need to learn songs and dances. You don't need to just be entertained by an iPad.
It's a whole world, and I only know a little bit about it. I obviously don't have children, but I've seen on YouTube just what like the kids are just like attracted to. And one was these little kids with like bad animations, and they making weird noises, and it's like cartoonish, but not really. And it's getting millions and millions and millions of views. It blows my mind because where are these millions of views coming from? Is it just children watching this? I mean, it's just garbage. It's not educational.
No, it's not. No.
That's what happens to a parent. Like, can put on like a YouTube channel for the kid, right? Like where it is educational. And there's a lot of good stuff out there. There is. Not knocking that.
No, there are.
What happens is the parent walks away. The kid's skipping through videos, clicking around.
Yeah.
Ends up going on stuff that shouldn't see.
Yeah.
So you got to have your restrictions up. But I think most people have the restrictions. But you'll end up watching videos that are just like senseless. It's just like it's just like it has nothing to develop for a child's developing brain.
It's amazing how they learn. Even my niece is 3.5, and in my parents' house, they have a digital photo frame. So it just is a scroll of pictures, of the kids, the family, whatever. Yeah. And my niece goes up there and she touches it and she knows how to hit next and hits all sorts of. I don't even know how it works. And she's up there messing with it, and you're trying to tell them not to. But how can you tell a kid don't touch that when every adult she sees is on their phone at some point?
It's monkey see, monkey do. If you're on your phone, the kid's going to want to do that. The kid's going to want to do everything your parent. Like if you're
one solution, not using devices in front of children.
Yes, and that's
easier said than done.
That's hard though too, because you think
I know.
people get in touch with you that phone. I can't my job is being available. So like having my phone on me, emails, calls, like that's my day. So it's hard, but I think as far as downtime goes, you shouldn't be scrolling. Like use your phone for the core functions you need to, but all that extra stuff, like if you're scrolling on the couch on Facebook and your kid's there, that's probably not good because your kids give your attention to the kid versus you doing that because the kid's going to want to do what you're doing too. So I don't know. I mean, I'm don't have kids, at least not, not yet. I do want them, but man, that's the whole technology thing. Like that's going to be,
because it is a tool. A tired parent.
Yeah.
Here's some food.
Yes.
Here's some, here's Frozen. Here's some Disney movie.
I used to have to rewind the VHS, but I have to put the thing in, rewind it, take it out.
Right.
At least I knew how to do that. Now these kids know how to do way more. Maybe these kids are just smarter than us, and we're just jealous.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Nah.
Watch your niece and see if she always talks to, when she's talking to you, if she looks at you.
I think she does, but I'll check.
Just check, because
She's got no problem arguing with me.
Yeah. But I know that there are a lot of kids. When I used to go to outdoor ed and we would spend the night, we'd spend 2 nights out. And I had a chance to really have dinner at the same table with the same kids. And I would have to tell them, when you're talking to me, be sure you look at me. I want to look at your eyes. They said, well, my parents are watching television. They just talk to me when they're watching television. I said, they don't look at you and look at your eyes. Now, it's so important to look at someone when you're talking to them.
Oh yeah, I mean that's like emotional intelligence and like social IQ, like all that stuff comes into play. Like
yes,
you become I don't want to say like a better person, but like I think more knowledgeable with people skills by being around people. Like you expect to, expect to achieve these great things in life. A lot of that's achieved by putting yourself in positions with other people and communicating and learning from every little circle you're in. If you don't do that, you're not going to have that rich, the rich communication skills like us have here at the Tea with Fran podcast.
Yes,
okay?
It will. And you have said exactly one of the things I worry about. The kids that are growing up that don't have people skills, they're not going to be able to be as successful and I think as happy in their lives as they could be.
So just to play devil's advocate.
Yes.
We all grew up. I have, a sense of community.
Yeah.
I have my family.
Yes.
But more importantly, beyond that, I have friends.
Yes.
People that I get in touch with, that I spend time with.
Yes.
Is that, and if so, why, more valuable than someone who doesn't leave the house and their sense of community is on their computer, people they play video games with or just chat with over whatever? Is that more valuable to have the in-person, hey, let's meet up and go hiking? Is that more valuable than, hey, let's meet up and play video games?
Yes, a big yes.
But why?
Okay. All right. One of the things that's happening, Kevin, when you see these people who can even in an argument shoot somebody and kill them, is because they have lost this idea of feeling the other person's emotions. Like when you have a real argument and you're a little kid and you see this going on, you see how it can also be settled. And you feel for the person. You develop empathy so that you know how they feel. When you say something that's mean and it hurts their feeling and you see them crying, then you don't develop the skills of caring when you are just playing games. You have to be in person.
And I'm not saying that it is equal. I'm just devil's advocate because I could see people listening and, well, I was bullied in school, but the friends I made online playing video games never bullied me.
Or mean more to me. Right. Yeah. And they probably say that.
I think that's okay too. But at the same time, I think that's okay because some people are in this shell and maybe life has been so maybe hard around them and they feel like they've tried and they can't, but they become, they meet someone over like a video game, like, right? You can play, I remember like even growing up, I played in high school. I always played Call of Duty. It was a war game. You're just shooting around, running around, killing people. It was a ton of fun. Yeah. But you'd have your headset in. I played with Kevin. We played with guys in Kansas City who we just like met, and they were like, they were in KC.
Yeah.
And we'd go on like after school some days. We'd partner up with them, and we were just. It was like they were your friends. You just would just crack jokes. You'd rip on each other. It was just like, oh, this is cool. So I think you can develop relationships that way. And I think for some people that's fine. Like at least it's better. Like at least you're talking, communicating. But I think that the human interaction is always gonna
be
going
more
to be
important.
more important. More, you're going to get more substance out of it. Put it that way.
Yes, and it isn't that isn't fun. I know that's fun, but I still see that when in your intimate life with the people, your wife, your husband, your children, your parents, those relationships, they're the most, that is that interaction of being human and your needs, your emotional needs. You can't get that just with a machine and a game. You can't.
But also, the one good thing I will say for people who are introverts, right, who really mind to their own, let's say they have a few friends, like they're probably really, they're really close with. Me as an extrovert, I put myself in a lot of positions where, I meet a lot of people, I befriend a lot of people, and there's a lot of people that I'm like, oh boy, like I don't have the time, I don't have the, like I'm like I'll be very cordial, but I'm like I gotta leave. In my head I'm like, oh, this is just tiresome. It becomes, you're putting yourself in a position that you don't necessarily realize you gel with. You don't jive with everybody, right? So that's another thing too. It's like the people who are introverts is like, I get that because there are some people like I can't stand to be around. And, I'm around them and it's like, yeah, I can suck it up. And those people just won't completely avoid that situation. Or me, I can deal with it. But it's like sometimes a lot of that, that's like, obviously you're not, your friend group is your friends because of how you interact with them, what you relate to, and everything
your
like
energy
that.
field.
Your energy field. So that's where your energy field, when you're an extrovert, your energy field goes a lot of places, but you end up finding more people who you're not, you don't have that same energy with.
Right.
And as an introvert, your energy field is the same size, but you just don't put it to use.
Right. And maybe you're not even aware of it.
Mm-hmm.
This is kind of changing gears, but it just came to me. It seems as though, you talk about this AI getting a personality. So how odd is it that the computers are becoming more human-like and the humans are becoming more computer-like?
Yeah, it is. It's a bizarre world that we are in.
Clip it.
That is.
The computers are trying to be humans and we're just trying to be computers. It's what it is. This is ridiculous. That's why AI, you'll never be me. You'll never be me. You can't do it.
No.
I'm going to live and I'm going to die. AI is going to live forever and be miserable. I can tell you that much. Knows too much stuff that it shouldn't know. It's going to create all these scenarios. AI is going to get in its head and AI is going to freak out. And I'm hoping I'm not around for that. Yeah. That's down the road. That's Skynet stuff,
All right. So we're trying to work on solutions.
Yeah.
Something we discussed the other day in prepping for this is people are bad listeners now because they're distracted by devices, because they devalue what other people offer them, because they don't pay attention.
That's right.
When the TV's on, the TV's on just for background noise.
Yes.
Whatever. How do we get folks to be better listeners? Obviously, spend less time on the phones.
Yes.
I have app timers. So on all my apps, that like the distracting ones, I can't use them for more than 30 minutes a day.
Okay.
Which is like, oh, that's not bad. But then
it's quick. It goes real quick.
It goes quick. But also it's like, oh, wow. I spent an hour and a half today on on Instagram, Twitter, and like Facebook.
Right.
It's like, wow, that's an hour and a half. Like, what could I have done with that time?
Yes.
And I used to spend more time on them before I put the apps, because now that I have the timer and it gives me like, all right, 20 minute, 50, like, I'm like, oh, like, let me get off this.
Yeah.
Like, let me save this for later. And then some days, I don't use the whole timer. So that's one way I'm doing it. I don't know if everyone has app timers, but less time on the phones. Fran, how do people learn to communicate better? Just practice?
You have to, the first thing you have to do is take a good look at yourself and really be real truthful and honest. Are you really spending your life the way you truly want to spend it?
I don't think people are good at doing that.
Maybe people shouldn't do that. Maybe no.
Consult a doctor before doing that.
No, it's this thing about time. And I know that it's because I'm now 84 and I'm looking at time and how you spend your life. And recently I was thinking about the fact that I haven't been creating things lately. I haven't done much sewing. I used to sew almost every day. I was always doing things or painting. And, I loved painting, and now I don't do it.
Yeah.
And I'm just thinking about how I'm spending my time. But all of this, as I'm watching just my neighborhood, just watching the people that walk up and down the street and watching the news, not all the news because it's all sensational, but watching it, I am really concerned about the sweetness of life. And it really comes from your relationships. And you must listen to the people that are around you, understand their feelings about things, love them. Love is the greatest force on earth, the greatest.
How sweet it is.
And how sweet it is. And if everyone could want to have a sweet and dear life, they need to become good listeners to the people around them and feel for them. What they're feeling, you feel. Empathy is such an important skill. Caring.
I agree. And just thinking back on folks that, spend more time talking to internet people than folks, for lack of a better word, in real life.
Yeah.
You can't hug people through the computer.
No.
Yeah.
But if you have a friend, family member, if you have someone or people in your life that you care about, you can give them a hug. And how no matter what someone tells you on the internet, nothing beats someone you care about, giving you a hug.
Yeah.
That's right. That's absolutely
I like the whole
right.
thought of as far as you always mention time, time is the most valuable thing.
It is.
And it's you can lose out on time, but time will never lose out on you. Time continues to go. So it's the limited time you're here,
Yes.
capitalize on it, take advantage of it,
Yes. Yes. Well, I'm glad we talked about this.
This was a good one.
I am glad.
Yeah, let me see if I've...
any Fran Mail?
We'll get there in just a moment. I had some notes with Fran the other day about what to discuss. Personal relationships are more important than devices.
Yes.
Yeah, we got that.
The
Cross
value
off
of
the
time.
list.
Yes.
Cross her off the list, man.
Yep. Concerns. How people act in public.
Oh, yes.
I mean...
let me tell you something about acting in public. I've done a lot of it. I was getting better, but yeah, you got to put yourself out. You got to put yourself out in life to enjoy it and learn. If you don't put yourself out in life, what are you doing? It means nothing.
Thankfully, there are, you spoke of that kid before. He acted because he didn't have a phone.
Yeah.
But when you see the videos that come out from people fighting in public, bad things happening, whatever, and everyone's just on their phone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
And thankfully, there are still people that are jumping in to help. Like someone drowning. Oh my God, they're drowning.
You got 10 people filming. Everyone's like, does anyone know how to swim? Can we just go save the guy? I do. There's a lot of things. I don't like a lot of those things. But every now and then I'll stumble across a little league, where the parents get in fights at little league games.
Yes.
I find that so entertaining for whatever reason.
That predates phones.
That predates phones, but that is good. That is some good stuff. Shouldn't do it, but when it happens, it's just entertaining. It's just
the best way.
Dads going at it.
The best way I ever heard it described was, your phone is a tool.
Yes.
You should pick it up and use it as a tool. If that's to conduct business,
Yes.
to organize an event,
Yes.
to find information, to buy, to sell, that is a tool.
Yes.
You don't, you got to use it as a tool and then put it down. You don't pick up a hammer, hit a nail in, and then just continue to hammer everything. No, you put the tool down when you're done with it.
I like that.
You've been hammering screws, I know. So
That's a good point.
Mm-hmm.
It is
All
a
right.
tool.
I hope everyone's enjoying having us back in their ears.
Yeah, I'm
I do too.
enjoying. I'm enjoying being in their ears.
That's good. I'm going to look up some Fran Mail. Justin, if I remember correctly, I don't think we covered it on the last episode. Someone wanted to know how you broke your wrist. Did we talk about that?
Yeah, snowboarding. That came up.
It was
Snowboarding. Yeah.
Okay. Have you broken any other bones?
Oh, well, last time, not this past year, but the year before, first run snowboarding in, where was I? It's in Sugarbush. Yeah, it was in Sugarbush. I dislocated one of my fingers and the other one jammed. First run, I ended up going throughout the whole trip, but I had to reset it. Like it was just coincidental. I slid out. There's a block of ice and just got me. And I was joking about it on the lift going up with my buddy. I'm like, yeah, watch, who's going to get hurt first?
You.
It was me.
You drove all that way to get hurt.
Yeah.
So just a reminder out there for folks to follow us on Instagram, the Tea with Fran podcast. I posted about 24 hours ago how we were going to be recording.
Good.
So we could see who wrote in for that. All right. So does Fran have any summer plans?
No, I sort of take one day at a time. I just let the day sort of like, I don't know, lead me into the garden.
All I'm
depends
hearing
on the
is
weather.
invite Fran to do stuff.
Yeah.
She's available. Justin's busy. I may be around.
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask, what was your go-to teacher activity for the summer?
Oh, a long time ago?
Yeah.
No.
Well, you're not teaching. I mean, you're not in a
I'm
classroom
not teaching,
anymore.
not anymore. But when I was teaching, I loved the summers so that I would always try to go to an interesting place. Dan and I traveled and we loved it. And I would gather up information and look for things that I could share in the classroom. But then always to the beach. I'm a beach girl. So in August, we would head for the beach. And then that's when I would prepare myself for the classroom because it's an exciting place. Every day is different. It's filled with all those personalities, interesting kids who are growing up. I do miss all of them. They're very dear to me, still to this day.
And we know for sure, because so many have reached out to us, that you are still very dear to them.
Good.
And the impact
glad.
you've left.
Good.
Justin,
glad.
you have any summer plans to share? Because who knows when we're going to record again?
I know.
Could be the fall.
What do I got? Got a bachelor party this weekend. That'll be fun. Got to fly out to Florida in June for a meeting. And I go to California in August to visit one of Nicole's friends. And then also I got some beach trips in between.
Good.
Got another wedding. And
yes.
yeah, I got a bunch of things scattered throughout.
Good.
So I'll
The
be
other-
on the move.
I think it was the last time I walked over here, I heard the birds going crazy. And it inspired a poem. I wonder if I have it scribbled somewhere. I have the poem memorized because it's only like 2 lines and I can handle that.
Clearly you can't if you're just jumbling for it.
I wrote it somewhere. All right, who knows where it is. But the poem is early spring, summer plans. Spring came early, which was big news for the birds. Sun up to sundown, they chatted away their summer plans. I, too, have planning to do.
I love it.
So what are you doing this summer, Kevin? That's what we're going to ask you. That's what you want to know. What are you doing this summer? What are your plans?
I got some concerts lined up.
Oh, yeah, I might have. I have a bunch of things in my calendar, like tentative, like it's stuff you sent me for concert. I just put TBD.
Yeah, some concerts into the fall as well. I am going up to Acadia National Park in Maine for a week in
Yes.
July.
That's wonderful.
My lovely girlfriend is working up there for the summer
Yes.
and living the dream. She just saw the sunrise this morning from the top of Cadillac Mountain, which is, I've done it before. It is a very beautiful thing. And she says the stars up there have just been soupy and
Yes.
beautiful.
Yep. Star
So-
soup.
She's having a good time. So I miss her dearly, of course,
Yes.
but to know she's up there living out a dream, I mean, I could never deny that.
No, never.
So that's my big plan. And then I got some beach trips planned along with the concerts and just spending time with family,
Yes.
watching my niece and nephew get bigger and just the fun with them. And
It's a perfect summer.
hopefully a couple more episodes recording with you guys.
100%. 100%.
Yes. Yes.
I'm looking forward to the next one. We're writing a list of things that bother us.
That bother us. Okay. Right. And this one bothered me. So I'm glad that we did it.
Hopefully we can find some other things that bother you, Fran.
Okay.
You said, I don't think this was in the recording, but Fran, you said pulp is the soul of the fruit.
Yes.
I just want everyone else to hear that.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, so just a reminder, find us on Instagram, Tea with Fran Podcast. Send us questions, tea with Fran Mail at gmail.com.
Tea with Fran, yeah, right? It's teawithfranmail at gmail.com.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything else. I'll check. I don't know if anything came over that. No.
Okay.
Because everything's back there from February.
All right.
Someone did write in on the Instagram why they feel like the country is in bad shape, and why is that? You think the technology is part of it?
Well, they should have gave us a reason of why they think it's in bad shape. That's whoever wrote that question, write a better question. Give us a little context. You just want us to talk about it. That's fine, but I want to know why you think it's in shambles.
I'm going to guess that they're looking at how divided we are. That's what they're looking at. But this country has been like that before. It started a long time ago.
Yeah.
And we've never resolved those issues. And there are people that are prejudiced.
Oh, yeah.
And you're not born that way. You have to learn that, And it's going to take a while. I mean, I do see an improvement because I grew up in the South. I grew up where, it was black schools, and you had a colored water fountain.
What color was the water fountain? Was it rainbow? Was it? I'm teasing. I know they separate the whites and the blacks.
Always,
terrible times.
Always, it was like they did everything possible to keep people from being friends. And now I do see people that are marrying, so that there are the new people that are blended. And I have wonderful black friends in my life. But when I was a little girl growing up in the South, my dad would not have allowed that. And
crazy.
Yeah, it is. It really is. And it wasn't that he was a bad man. He was quoting scripture. He always quoted the scripture about Cain killing his brother.
Abel.
And so Cain was cursed that day by God. And God put a mark on him so that everybody would recognize him and his children, and that was black. And my dad black isn't in there, but my dad believed that was the mark. And so he said that they can never be equal.
That's great. You want to hear something funny, though? You're talking about Cain and Abel.
Yes.
This is a little off topic, but
yeah,
the story of Cain and Abel. When I was working in California, when I was working on that feature film, there was a movie called Redemption of Cain. Redemption of Cain.
Okay.
Never came out because they pulled the plug on it, but it was an Overbrook production. It was Will Smith and his brother-in-law doing it. It had nothing to do with white and black, but it was about vampires. They looped vampires into it somehow. It's garbage. You can look it up online. I think that there's a little bit about it, but I remember reading that portion of the script, it was a big script. I didn't get through all of it, but I'm like, this is total garbage. And I understand why they pulled the plug on it, because it was like a $200 million budget. They just canceled that real quick, which led me out of work, which led me to do a lot of other things, which led me here. So thank you, Cain and Abel.
I know we don't get too political on the podcast.
No, we don't.
But I think you mentioned in your childhood, Fran, these differences, these problems are not that long ago.
No, they're not.
I mean, I've met neo-Nazis in the past few years.
Yes.
You're not by choice, by chance.
Yes.
You got to make that clear.
Down in Texas. Yeah, it was not enjoyable. But, kind of goes with what we've talked today. Learning how to communicate with people and working out your problems and not doing it on the internet where you're fighting anonymously.
That's right.
But talking to one another and explaining your views and hearing others. Listening to hear, not listening to answer. Another thing we've run into.
Too, that whole thing on prejudice and like you're talking like neo-Nazis. Like people are you think like some people are dealt a rough hand as a sense of like they're born in an area where they don't have access to the same information, or they're sheltered from learning this, right?
Exactly.
So it's like, don't shelter people either. Don't hide things. I think that's no good when you hide things. I think everyone has to know. I think it's good to know all the, problems and everything that's happened in the world and like how far we've come versus, there's
Yes.
people who are literally sheltered from that and have no idea. And that's their life and they're happy. They couldn't imagine it any other way, which is insanity in my opinion.
Yes.
Love thy neighbor. That was important for something, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Don't covet them. Is that the fifth one?
There's a few commandments.
Yes. But if everyone treated others the way they want to be treated,
The golden rule?
the golden
golden
rule,
rule.
we would be a lot happier.
All right.
My advice for folks listening, treat others how Fran treats people.
Good.
And that will leave the world a better place.
Thank
Oh,
you.
it's
I like
good to be
that.
back.
I like that.
Interact with us. Send us questions.
Please
any
do.
dilemmas.
Yes.
Fran wants to give advice. Justin wants to give his input. I'm here to just direct the ship.
Yes.
It's good to be back.
Yes.
Missed you guys.
Very good. We have missed you.
Till next time.
Yes. Good night. Sweet dreams.
Great lemonade.
It could be the morning, Fran. Sometimes I listen to this in the morning. The amount of times you say good night, I'm driving. I'm like, I can't be going to bed. It's 8:30. I'm sitting in traffic. But till next time.